GenCon 2013, here's Mark Arnaudo. I'm meeting with Eickert, the publisher of many excellent games for Academy Games, and today he has agreed to sit down and tell us a little bit about Freedom, his new upcoming game about the Underground Railroad. It's about abolitionism in America in the 19th century. Okay, it's making it hard for me to catch the cover. Okay, keep it there. All right. That's good. How you doing?
Hello, Marco. It's great to see you. And you look so much taller.
I know. Everybody tells me that.
What is that all about?
I don't know. You need to buy a bigger screen, I guess, to give you a better sense.
On my screen.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you for showing some interest in this. Freedom the Underground Railroad is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. And it is a tough game. It's like Pandemic on steroids. And
wow.
We love playing Pandemic. But this is really a much more layered game, and it's a resource management. You're always low on money, and you want to do all these different things, and you plan together how to do it. You're up, you're down, and at the end, you may make it or you may not. So we found a I think, very nice, balanced game about a very heady and tough topic to carry.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a delicate topic to approach. Well, can you show us how you approach it, how you turn the topic into, well, a game?
I'd love to do that, and it's a game, but also you can learn stuff. Do you want to put the camera so you see it from the other side, or?
Do you think it'd be better?
Well,
yeah, it's kind of like
kind of see it.
All right.
All right.
Let me cross to that side. Okay, now we're looking at the map from the right direction, not from the 180-degree direction of the player sitting on the opposite side. All right. Tell us a bit about the game.
Let me take the gum and put it on the table here. Nobody pick it up later.
I may edit that out later. Or not.
In the game, players play cooperative, and they have 2 goals. They must move slaves from the southern plantations up through the South, North America to Canada. Mm-hmm. That's their first goal. Each game tells you how many slaves you must free, depending on how many players and what difficulty of the game. This is the easier game. You have to free 22 before you lose 20 slaves to the game. The slave catchers and also the slave markets. So number 1, you have to move slaves to the north, and number 2, you must purchase all of the abolitionist support tokens. In a game, players will first of all together decide how they're going to purchase tokens. Tokens can be conductor tokens, and a conductor token is, for example, you can move 3 tokens, 1 area each, and the further along you get in the game and get in different eras, and as the Underground Railroad became more sophisticated, the movement becomes better. But the problem is, in each era, you only have so many movement tokens. And the only way you can get to the next era is by purchasing all these very expensive support abolitionist tokens. And that shows historically that if players concentrate too much on the movement and not on the abolitionist support and the buildup of the financial backing that was needed, the railroad portion of it just dried up and it came to screeching halt.
Good.
So,
sounds like a good idea to have that.
The easiest thing, or the main important thing, is when you move a slave, let me set this up, this is kind of beat up here. When you move a slave into an area, different slave catchers crisscross how historically their main routes were. So for example, if this slave would move from here into Cincinnati, he triggers the red slave catcher and the yellow. And we have the overview here, huh?
Yeah.
Take a little break.
All right, you can go back.
So if he would move, let's make it a little easier. If he would move to Cincinnati, the red would move towards him, and the yellow would actually capture him, and that slave gets sent back to the slave markets. The slave markets, at the end of every round, refill up the plantations.
Oh,
and
I
if
see.
you do not have enough slaves that have been moved towards the north, the excess slaves that you cannot accommodate in the plantations get sent up to the slaves lost area. If that fills up, the players lose the game.
Okay.
Now, that is the movement portion of the game. Then we have the political portion of the game. Also, during a player's turn, they can try to purchase pro-abolitionist cards that represent the organizations and the people and the laws that were passed. But also, there are opposition cards that came into effect, like the Dred Scott decision, which had terrible repercussions for the abolitionist movement. And these work against the players. This is a game that was in the middle of the game. The players lost because of the Dred Scott decision. It ruined the game for them. At the end, they lost.
All right.
So
Got it.
in this game, it's a very tough game because you're balancing trying to collect money, trying to use the laws that are open to the players to help them move slaves to the north while collecting money to keep buying the tokens for the conductor tokens and also the abolitionist support tokens. I'm really lousy at explaining these games, but everybody's played it, has just had a blast playing it. It's very difficult. The interfacing between the different players is wonderful because every player plays a different role that has different strengths and weaknesses. So the preacher is very good at trying to get some of these laws passed. It's less expensive to buy. The conductor, the Harriet Tubman role, is for moving extra slaves during the turn. You have the rail station and many of the people who then also did personal lecturing and articles about the movement that brought in more people. So it's historically relevant, people learn, but based out, it's a fun game and difficult game to play.
It looks absolutely amazing. I'm really excited. I really want to try this game, well, as soon as I can. I guess that today the hall is closing, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, at the first glance, it does look like Pandemic, but there's history in it. It seems frankly more sophisticated and definitely much more thematically interesting than Pandemic. Well, thank you, Uber, for taking the time to explain the game to us.
Well, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.